I'd like to start with our leadership class by introducing to all of you one very important chapter, which is about the power of creative intelligence. Uh, as the purpose of our leadership class is to inspire our students to bring creativity and proactive attitudes to class and to their life, it is very important that they should start by understanding what is creativity and how creativity influence their life and society. So let's move to the very first slide, which is about what is creativity. And the answer is that any new ideas come in between two or more old practices. So this is not really a generalized definition, but it's one of the best and easy definitions that every one of us can understand. Only when we do interactions, only when we practice, then new ideas come in between. If we don't do anything, even sometimes we are thinking and we have idea, but it's not really called creativity at all until we turn that idea into practice. Person who get more ideas and creativity is those who are working in their areas. How about a person who has sign of creativity? How can we know this or that person is a person full of creativity? So here are some examples. It's a little silly, little funny, but this is true. Person who a little lazy, to most of us, they are lazy, they are not good student. But most of them, for example, are the person who's sleeping in a class, who acts a little lazy. These are also a kinds of person who are having creativity. Why? Because this person don't really like the way that we are living, the way that his or her teacher is teaching. So he or she is thinking of creating new ways to replace what he felt boring. So that's called creativity, because he wants to replace any old practice with a new one. A person who like drawing art, this person also has high potentials of creativity. Why? um, because during their time drawing, working, they understand themselves more. The idea of creativity is just coming up. Also, if we are involving with making colors, as we remember in the past, our tradition, we have only few colors like white, black, red, blue. But later we found out that there are a lot more colors. And why? Because we start to learn how to mix the color. So between white and black, when we mix it up, it turns to be a little gray. And we had light or dark gray, for example. And so we have more and more color right now. Understanding from colors, we are also understanding from a mind, from a life, that we can have more creativity when we trying to mixing between the two idea or two words, the two practices. A person who like solo trip, a person who relying on him or herself, for example, like a traveler. In fact, when we are traveling in group, we tend to rely on people, the destination where we are going, the place where we are staying. When we traveling in big group, we don't really care. Why? Because we believe that someone in a group will take care of this, so we just follow the group. But when we learn to do a solo trip, traveling alone, working alone, doing something alone, then we start to activate all of our brain. And so we need to take care of everything. We start to take note, we start to list down, we start to check what we have done, what we have prepared. We start to activate our brain. That means 100% of our brain are using. So likely that person also has more creativity. Why? Because the more we use our brain, the more we activate, the more idea coming up. So in short, a person who think a lot, daydreaming, person who like drawing, like mixing colors, some person who playing games, not gambling, traveling alone, the person who made a lot of failures, the person who take initiatives. These are persons who has signs of creativities, and actually there are more. If you know this guy, he is Albert Einstein. To his childhood, nobody likes him. Even his teacher always kicked him out the class because he often sleep in the class, and he doesn't really like to do exam. He fails his examinations many times, but at the end he turned out to be a person who has high creativity, high IQ, for example. Just a quick idea to you is that never underestimate a person who has daydreaming, who are a little lazy. While lazy is not good, thinking a lot is not good, but it doesn't mean that this or that person gonna stay like this forever. So he may change later in life. I have just explained at the moment about how many percent of our brain has been used, because this really matters a lot. The more we use our brain capacity, the more likely that we have creativity. And here is one of the main problem that we have, which really locked our brain. We call it prisoner game. So prisoner games is referring to a life that we are trying to imprison ourselves, that we are blocking our potential, our creativity, and we need to release ourselves from these prisons. What are the prisons that we are having or facing in our day life? For example, like when we were young, we are told to do this or that. The attitudes of people who teach us, actually they love us, but some of the teaching methods really push us into a lock-up idea. When people really blame us and force us to do things like this and that, otherwise if we don't do the same thing right, they will blame us. That means we are trying to lock ourselves up and we don't open our mind. So teaching method is really matters to little people, to young, to kids. The idea is that we need to teach them to questions. We need to teach them to understand. We need to teach kids to observe, to questions before they make a conclusion, before they take note. Well, of course, for example, if they learn to read, if they learn to write ABC, call, then they need to remember it. But when it comes to idea, as a teacher, we need to do is that we need to push them to have open mind, to repeat, to do the same thing like old people did is also not good. When we teach people to avoid failures, this is really wrong. Of course, we don't want failures. We don't want people to make mistakes, but we can't avoid in life. The only thing we can do is that in order to release them from non-creativity prison is that you're gonna make mistake, you're gonna fail once or more in lifetime, and that's okay. You need to learn from failures. You need to learn from those mistakes. That's the idea, and this gonna push them to have creativity. Well, stay polite is good, but some culture really, when you have different idea, you just don't want to express it because you feel like this is really impolite. But actually, stay polite is not always good. But you don't need to be impolite. You just ask people to express your idea. When staying polite and you lose your idea, that's not good. You need to tell people. Probably the first, second time people don't accept it. But if you keep telling, if you keep proving, they will start to accept your ideas, your creativities. This really apply a lot to student and teacher. Some students don't want to make their teacher feel upset, so they just stay silent and don't ask any questions, don't want to challenge. Or between workers and employer, they don't want their boss to feel upset, so they don't question, they just follow. This is not really good. Question is how to encourage creativity. As a parent, as a teacher, as a leader, how can we do to encourage? We need to show our positions very strong. We need to show to our students, to our kids, to our employee that we support the idea, we love the idea. We need to show to our people that we are welcoming new idea and don't be scared to share idea. So if we show this to our students, to our kids, to our employee, they're gonna understand and they're gonna feel confidence by sharing their idea. When they share, we need to do congratulations. Even his or her idea not always perfect, but when we congratulate, when we say thank you to him or her by expressing their opinion, this is also a good way to promote new idea, to promote confidence. Idea is not always good, idea is not always bad, and one idea is not always leading to success. But we believe that more and more new idea may have us a lot into creativity. Be creative. Try to activate our mind. Try to activate our thought by think of something, even it's stupid, even it's a little silly to others, but it may become true later in life, and people are gonna accept you. A very simple example is Thomas Edison. He's the one who tried to create light bulb or lamp. People laughed at him. People saying he's stupid because he tried to make it and almost 10,000 times that he couldn't make it, but he never give up. At the end, people applaud for his commitment, for his perseverance, for his creativity. He finally made a light bulb or lamp. So he's one of the best inventors. And how this idea came into his mind? Because he saw the thunder light and he thought that if we could make light bulb out of this to make use at home. At first, it's very stupid idea, but later we benefits a lot from his stupid idea, and it's no longer a stupid idea. So my message to you is that be creative, and we realize that it's a little stupid at first, but when we made it, it's become miracle. It's become awesome. So don't give up. Again, creativity is in between skills, plays, and passions. Actually, it's here. Genius. So you have skills, you have passion, and you like to play. And when you can combine between the three together, you can have genius. Because only between skills and play, you can have fun. Between skills and passions, you have dynamics. Between plays and passions, you are having interesting interests. But if you can combine all these three together, you have one. It's called genius, and actually it's creativity. So think of skills that you have, think of passions that you are having so long, and think of the daily life that you are playing with. If you can combine these three together, you will find your own genius or creativity one day. Actually, if you want to really know what is your passions, you need to start with why. And this is recommended by Simon Sinek. He wrote a book called Start with Why. So to make your idea influential, impactful, you need to question why you do what you are doing. You need to know what are inspiration cause that push you to do it, and don't matter much about what or how. When you found why, then you will push to what, and then you're gonna know how to do it. So most of us always start with like, I know what to do and I don't know how to do it, and so you give up. And at the end, he found out that he want to make user feel comfortable. He want to bring excellence, better devices to users. He want to see his her customers enjoy with his service. So he start with the products called computers and then smartphone. And Apple is one of the most successful companies in the world because they start with why. They send a clear message to all customers that they want to see the customer enjoy the service. They don't just want to sell the product, but they want their product to be very useful for all customers. So the message that they send is very big difference from other services or product. From Apple, they are saying, we inspire to be great and we believe that our products will benefit the users. And people love it. So people buy the idea first before they buy the product. The same thing with us. We need to be very creative because creativity have us to sell a product. I like to rest up this point too. It has been said or mentioned by Gautama Buddha too, and his idea is really help to release ourselves from prisoners of non-creativity. So Buddha said, don't simply believe what you hear just because you have heard it for a long time. Don't believe it. You have to question it. You have to challenge it. Don't follow tradition blindly because it has been practiced in that way for so many generations. Do not be quick to listen to rumors. Do not confirm anything just because it agrees with your scriptures. Do not be convinced of anything out of respect and deference to your spiritual teachers. So all these 11 points actually helping students, people to question before they make conclusions, before they believe. And this is the best way to promote, to encourage creativity. What if we believe and we don't question? That means there is no creativity. We don't think a lot. We just very passive. We have to find evidence. We have to do research. Even this or that idea is good, but we need reasons. And these are part of the factors that have bring us to creativity. And it's really sad to say some of our believer followers, whenever they heard from the book, from teachers, from their leaders, they just believe it. Of course, it's good to believe people, but sometimes those leaders, those people are not perfect. They also learn the wrong thing and then they bring the wrong message to us. And if we don't question, we're gonna destroy ourselves. Don't rush to believe to make conclusions. Make observation, research, discussions, 2, 3, 4 times before you get conclusion. And this is really a way to promote creativity. One of the things that I want to bring into this, creativity is not always leading to righteous. Creativity is good, I said again, but it's not always leading to harmony, peace, beneficial to people. Some creativity is really wrong and we don't need to do it. For example, like we never know how to create bomb. We never know how to create virus. They are all creativity people. But this is really wrong. Creativity has to be aligned with, is it legally right? Is it morally right? And is it beneficial to you yourself and others? Take a very clear example about coronavirus, COVID-19. Some evidence showing that this virus are coming from the scientific research. Scientists trying to I don't know, do whatever ways to understand and to make medicines or pills to help people. But at the same time, they are learning it and they are trying to do experiments and things gone wrong and become killing human instead of helping human. And we don't need to do this. This is not really the best way to help people. You know what? The person, I don't know whatever purpose they want to have COVID-19 by accidents or not accident, but let's think about this with me. The person who are responsible for COVID-19, doctors, all of those are great people. They graduated from best university. They are working with best agency. They are having great experience. They are all well-known people. Even they have doctor degree. Even they are well-known, but we don't accept it. We don't support. We don't encourage people to be like them, because being a person, a great scientist, but killing people, killing humanity is not really a great idea at all. And it's not main purpose of these chapters. This chapter main purpose is to push a student to be creative, but creative within the area of legally, morally, and beneficial to you and others. That's it. Thank you so much for paying attention. If you have any question, you can ask in the comments or get contact to me directly. Thank you so much.